it's time for the Investors Education Series and the concluding part to our three-part discussion on personal finance. So we'll wrap up this particular topic this afternoon, and thereafter we'll go into the health and wellness segment. So over to you, Mr. Charles.
Thank you very much, Gina. It is the time for Investors Education, and we are right there. As usual, I will ask the normal questions. Do you have enough money? Are you spending enough time with your family and friends? Do you come home from your job full of life? Do you have the time to participate in things you believe are worthwhile? If you were to lay off from your job, will you see it as an opportunity? Are you satisfied with the contributions you have made to the world? Are you at peace with money? Does your job reflect your values? Do you have enough savings to see you through 6 months of normal living expenses? Is your life whole? Do all the pieces, your job, your expenditure, your relationship, your values, do they all fit together? Have you prepared a will? Okay, those are some questions for you to begin to ponder on so that you can answer them and know how to take your life to achieve what you have set for yourself in becoming financial independence, financial freedom, at the same time, financial confidence. You know, we've been talking about financial security, financial freedom, financial independence, but there's something we have not spoken about: financial confidence. And what's financial confidence? That is, you are confident financially that you are going to make more money, even if what you have made, they are all lost. So that is having that confidence that you keep making money as long as you follow the rules. Because making money is a game. You need to just follow the rules. And once you know that you are financially confident, then of course, all these things that we see in the media, a very important person doing a very important job, before you knew what, they're involved in one scam, or because they lack financial confidence. Because if you have financial confidence, you will do your job diligently, knowing that you have the capacity, you have the skill, not to pursue money, but to attract money. That makes you confident. Okay, we'll still take some other mind-stimulating exercise to answer some questions. 1. What are your 3 most important goals in life right now? What are your 3 most pressing problems right now? Describe the ideal outcome you desire from a problem facing you right now. What one thing will you dare to attempt if you knew you will not fail? What do you really want to do with your life? Okay, those are some mind-stimulating questions also for you to answer. We'll go straight now to our topic for today, which is a continuation of your personal finance and principles of personal finance. Of course, in the course of this series, we've been able to answer the purpose of personal finance. We've been able to define what personal finance is. Then the reason for personal financial planning, how personal financial planning is also done, and of course the component of personal financial planning. Then we've also talked about the habits of wealth. So these are some of the things we have covered in this series of personal finance. Now, we will just review the practice of personal finance. Like we have said, it can be reduced to just simple habits. If you want to do your personal finance, it's not a very difficult thing. You must, just like any other habit, like we have said, devote your time to develop that habit. And of course, you will be able to do your own personal financial planning. We say set financial goal, save habitually, invest habitually, write down and keep track of your expenses habitually. So it's just for you to make it an habit. And once it becomes an habit, of course, we know what habit is. Habits can make or mar you. As long as habit is a servant, it can make or mar you depending on how you direct it. So if you have cultivated the habit of savings, then of course, without even thinking about it, you just know that you just have to save. The same thing with investment. After savings, you just have to invest. Then keeping track of your expenses is all about habits. So if you think it's when you earn so much money you are going to save and invest, it's a lie. If you don't have that habit, of course, you will not be able to save or invest, as the case may be. Then we also mentioned that you have to habitually devote at least 8 hours per month to your financial affairs. One of the principles of personal finance is you must treat your money as a business. The money you are earning, you must see it as a business. You must have a budget. Though people don't want to hear when you talk of budgets because they believe that budgets will kind of restrict you. But again, that's a lie. Planned spending. Budgeting is simply telling your money where to go. Yeah, that is budgeting. But if you don't want to use the word, like people don't want to hear dieting. They don't want to hear budgeting because they believe that it's not going to work for them. Okay? That's what we're saying. Call it planned spending. If you want to go for vacation, you plan it. If your vacation is maybe in December, you begin to plan from January. Knowing where you are going, knowing the type of hotel you are going to stay, what is involved, the amount, and you begin to save towards it. You begin to plan towards it. That is planned spending. So that when you are in that vacation, because you have planned for it, all the money is there, you will not feel guilty the way you are spending or what you are, and how you are doing it. You won't feel guilty because you have planned for it.
You plan for it, you know that other things are taken care of as well.
Of course. So that is why we are saying you just need to do your personal financial planning. So people will require the experts to advise them on how to do it. Fine. But I must sound this note. Don't think because you have a degree in economics, then you're an expert in personal finance. No.
Of course not.
Don't say, oh, I'm a stockbroker, then I know about finances. No. Don't say, I'm a chartered accountant, I understand finances. No. Personal finance is different. You could be good in corporate finance. Yes, you are doing finance for your organization. That is fine. But when it comes to your own personal finance, I know that's what really amazes us. You see chief finance officers, you see stockbrokers, they advise people talk about finance. If I even see financial journalists, they talk about the numbers, this company has done this, this company has done that, they explain a lot. Ask them, have you bought those shares they are talking about? The book I would recommend, read Richest Man in Babylon, Instant Millionaire, Rich and Poor Dad. Have you read those books? So that is what we have discovered. Those who glamorize themselves as being financial experts. They just read these numbers. They just say all these things. They have not imbibed it in their own personal life. So you just need to imbibe it in your personal life. That's why it becomes personal finance. We also talk about seek your dream. You have to seek your dream. Personal financial planning affords you to see where you are going in future, and you begin to move towards it because you have planned for it. So we also said it is, some people say, well, I have just few years to go in my working career. But we are saying the best time to have planted a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. So it is never too late. I used to give this example. Is it Colonel Sander? The owner of is it
KFC.
KFC made his first million at 66. If he was some other person would have said, well, he's already retired from the armed forces. What else again does he have? He's already 66. Then his career is over. But it was at that point that he got that recipe. And today, KFC is all over the world. So it is never too late. It is late for you to make up your mind. The same also applies. You look at, I'll mention his name. It's an entertainer, a musician. What's that his name again? MC Hammer. He made so much money. And at one point in time, he was so rich that if you, his mansion, the toilets, they were all gold plated. But after some time, he was filing for bankruptcy. And we said, Hammer fell on MC Hammer. Okay? So that is also the business of entertainment. And we have seen so many rich people, but after a period of time, you see that they cannot even sustain their wealth, which means that the foundation to their wealth was very faulty. And because it's one thing to just make money, it's another thing to maintain it. That takes me to the point where I wanted to discuss some time ago. Economists will tell us GDP, that is gross domestic product, and that it is the aggregation of all the goods and services produced in the country for a period of time. And they have several methods of measuring or calculating it. They have the expense method and the income method. So if they say Nigerian GDP is X amount of naira, that means it is all the income that all of us have earned, joined together. That is for a country, for a year. That is one method of calculating it. Then the expense way of calculating it, all the expenses we have done for that year, everybody in the country, that is our GDP. Now, economists use GDP as a metrics to show that the economy is growing. Because if the GDP is growing up, it's growing, that means the economy is also growing. Now, can we apply that to our personal, what I call your personal GDP? As your personal GDP is growing, you are also growing. But what are the things that will make your personal GDP to grow? It is not just only to save money and hoard it. You have to save money, invest, you have to spend. Yes, you have to spend to stimulate the economy where you find yourself. I know money is dynamic. Money moves to those who make use of it very well. So that's what they call the velocity of money. The speed at which money exchange hands. You are improving the economy. But if you just make money, you just save and keep it, the GDP will not grow. The GDP, no, people are saying money is store of value. Okay, you just store the money. You have not improved your GDP. Because only when you spend, and what we are saying is planned spending. Your workers, you need to train them, you spend money. You need to pay them benefit, you spend money. You need to tell them, teach them how to invest what you have paid them. So you are seeing that you are increasing activities. The velocity of money is increasing. And once you are doing that, you are improving the economy of the country. The GDP is increasing, and then each individual is also improving in terms of their economic well-being. So a country calculates their GDP. Each individual too can also calculate their own personal GDP, which is gross domestic product. So in doing personal finance, you should also look at what are the things I can do to stimulate and increase economic activity where I find myself. Because if you are the one that is stimulating economic activity, you spend, you maintain your house, of course, the builders will come, you pay them, they will have money to go and buy something, and you can see that the economy is being stimulated. Once we are doing that, our GDP is increasing, and at the same time, your own personal GDP is increasing. And we can use that as a KPI to measure the health of any economy and the financial status of each individual. So we need to understand some of those things that we do to improve the economy around us. I will take some few quotes before we close this segment. Money is the best deodorant. Money is the best deodorant. Save money, and money will save you. To become rich, you must value saving more than spending. Saving money today secures, eases, and beautifies tomorrow. That is from E. Setigal. To get rich, you have to be making money while you are asleep. Unknown. And this one from Jim Roy. Money is usually attracted, not pursued. Thank you.
All right, so that wraps up the investor education series as well as our discussion on personal finance. You can catch up on the 3-part episode on our Facebook page. It's www.facebook.com/Broadstreet Radio. A quick break and we'll go into the health and wellness segment. It's your number one business radio.